Hi, I'm Craig Lowe, the Managing Director of Lowe & Co Realty, and today I want to talk to you about the Wellington housing market post-lockdown, what you need to know. I've been researching overseas property markets, and in particular China, because they're ahead of us in this health crisis. It's been fascinating to see that while their volumes dropped by 100% during the lockdown, since things have reopened, they've quickly bounced back to about 50% of normal volumes, which is incredibly encouraging and is perhaps a window into what we're in store for in the next few weeks. Certainty and uncertainty play an enormous role in markets, and something I noticed in the 2 weeks preceding this lockdown is that buyers and sellers were under an incredible amount of uncertainty. No one knew what this virus meant for Wellington. We didn't know what the government's response was going to be. And we were seeing really scary scenes overseas. So making big life-changing decisions under that kind of environment is very difficult. So buying and selling houses tends to go on pause. We are now 2 weeks into the lockdown, and it may not feel like it, but we actually have an incredible amount of certainty now. We know what the government's response is. We now have our alert system, which tells us what to do and how to behave as we step back down through that alert system. We also, to some degree, now have confidence that the government's actions may be working. It's early days, but every day at the moment, we're seeing a flattening of the amount of new cases and an incredibly low overall amount of infections within New Zealand relative to the other countries that didn't enter a lockdown quickly and have seen explosive growth in their infections. What I believe is that if we come out of this lockdown, it's going to be because we've got the virus under control. And that will be the impetus, the certainty and the impetus for buyers and sellers to come out of the woodwork and re-enter the market and start transacting again. Wellington is uniquely placed. We have an incredible geography with water on most sides. We cannot create any more land in the inner city. And there is a huge amount of latent demand. You know, we had one of the strongest amounts of people looking to get into the property market that I can remember in my 20 years of selling real estate. We had very, very low levels of supply, which is set to continue as we come out of the lockdown. There's still going to be a lack of houses for sale. And we have a government sector in Wellington which creates jobs, and they're going to be in stimulus mode as well. So we are positioned really well to come out of this crisis with a very resilient housing market. Now, in summary, I do realise that we are going to most likely have lower volumes this year. Less houses will be sold, but fortune is going to favour the brave. With a limited amount of supply, prices won't be under pressure, and people who do come out to take advantage of that latent demand are going to sell well, in my opinion. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please hit subscribe. And if you'd like an appraisal on your own home, check out the description below. I'll have a link where you can get an appraisal of your home's value. Stay home and stay safe.